The success John and Lyra achieved brought noticeable change to the outpost. Many crew members now actively sought opportunities to work together, bridging gaps between humans and Zalarians. John felt proud, seeing how their efforts had positively influenced everyone around them. One quiet afternoon, John and Lyra walked together through the peaceful garden they had created. They stopped to admire the vibrant mix of plants, thriving beautifully in harmony. "It's amazing to see what we've accomplished," Lyra said softly, her violet eyes sparkling with happiness. John nodded warmly. "It really is. I couldn't have done it without you," Lyra smiled gently. "And I couldn't have done it without you. Together, we've shown that friendship and cooperation can change everything." As they stood there, Commander Elena approached, carrying a small communication device. Her expression was serious but friendly. "John, Lyra, I need to speak with you both," she began calmly. "Of course, Commander," John replied, sensing the importance in her voice. They moved to a quieter area of the garden, away from others. "Commander," Elena spoke directly, her tone firm yet encouraging. "Our efforts here at the outpost have attracted attention from both Earth and Zalar. They proposed a joint diplomatic meeting here to discuss future collaboration. Leaders from both sides will be visiting soon, and I'd like you two to represent our outpost." Lyra's eyes widened in surprise and excitement. "This is wonderful news." John felt equally excited but also slightly nervous. "It's an incredible opportunity. We'll do our best to represent everyone." Commander Elena smiled reassuringly. "I trust you completely. Your friendship and cooperation have already set a strong example. Just be yourselves." As she left, John and Lyra shared an excited glance. The upcoming meeting was a big responsibility, but they felt ready for the challenge. The following days were busy with preparations. John and Lyra carefully planned activities, presentations, and events to showcase the success of their collaborative efforts. They wanted the visitors from Earth and Zalar to see firsthand the positive impact of unity. Finally, the day arrived. A delegation of human leaders and Zalarian representatives arrived at the outpost. Everyone gathered in the garden, beautifully decorated for the occasion. John and Lyra stood together, welcoming each visitor warmly. The atmosphere was filled with friendly curiosity and anticipation. After introductions, John stepped forward to speak clearly and warmly. "Welcome, everyone. Lyra and I, along with the entire outpost community, are honored by your visit. This garden symbolizes our commitment to friendship, understanding, and cooperation between humans and Zalarians." Lyra continued gracefully. "Our experiences here have shown us that when we embrace our differences, we grow stronger together. Today we look forward to sharing our journey and discussing ways to strengthen our bond further." The visitors listened closely, clearly impressed by John and Lyra's sincerity and achievements. The tour began, showcasing various projects and interactions between humans and Zalarians. The delegates were deeply interested, asking many questions and expressing admiration. Later, during a special meal prepared to highlight both Earth and Zalarian cuisine, conversations flowed naturally and enthusiastically. John felt proud, watching leaders from both worlds openly sharing ideas and learning from each other. As the event continued, John noticed Lyra quietly speaking with an elderly Zalarian woman. Their conversation seemed deeply meaningful. After a moment, Lyra waved John over to join them. "John, this is Elder Myra," Lyra introduced respectfully. "She wishes to speak with us both." The elder woman smiled gently, her violet eyes wise and kind. "I've heard many stories about your friendship and efforts here. You've inspired many on Zalar. It's truly remarkable." John felt honored by her words. "Thank you, Elder Mira. It's been a journey filled with learning and growth for both of us." The elder nodded thoughtfully. "Our two peoples have long kept their distance, uncertain how to approach each other. Your friendship provides a powerful example." Lyra's expression was deeply moved. We hope our experiences encourage everyone to embrace unity and friendship. Elder Myra smiled warmly. It has. Indeed, your actions speak louder than words. We elders from Zellar and leaders from Earth are already discussing plans for future collaboration. You both have opened a new path for all of us. As Elder Myra moved away, Lyra turned to John, her eyes shining with emotion. John, did you hear? That we're making a real difference. John gently took Lyra's hand in his, feeling warmth and pride. Yes, we are. And we'll continue to do so together. The event ended with great success, leaving everyone optimistic about future cooperation. John and Lyra received heartfelt gratitude from their visitors and fellow crew members. Their hard work had truly made an impact. Later, in the quiet garden, John and Lyra sat together under the soft glow of the plants. The peaceful setting felt comforting after a long, fulfilling day. This day has been incredible, Lyra whispered softly, her voice filled with gratitude. It really has, John agreed gently. We've shown everyone what's possible when we work together. Lyra smiled warmly, her eyes meeting John's with deep affection. I never dreamed I'd find such happiness and purpose here. Meeting you has changed everything. John's heart filled with affection and sincerity. You've done the same for me, Lyra. You've taught me more than you'll ever know. They sat quietly for a moment, enjoying the peaceful beauty surrounding them. John felt deeply connected to Lyra, realizing how important she had become in his life. Lyra, John began softly, no matter what the future holds, I promise to always stand by you. Lyra looked deeply into his eyes, sincerity clear in her own. And I promise the same. Our friendship has become stronger than I ever imagined. They remained there, hand in hand, under the gentle lights of the garden. The moment felt perfect, filled with quiet happiness and the certainty of their bond. Together, John and Lyra knew they could face any challenge, confident their friendship would continue growing stronger, guiding both their worlds toward a brighter, unified future. After the garden's success, John and Lyra's lives became busier. They spent much time planning new projects and continuing their work to bridge the gap between humans and Zellarians. The station's atmosphere improved greatly as many crew members began to appreciate and embrace their differences. One evening, John and Lyra sat together, enjoying a quiet dinner after another busy day. The dining hall was peaceful, filled with the gentle hum of friendly conversations around them. It feels good to see everyone getting along, John said softly, watching the groups of humans and Zellarians sharing meals and laughter. Lyra nodded. Warmly, it's wonderful. I never thought things would improve so quickly. Your friendship has made all the difference. John smiled gently, feeling warmth spread through him. And yours too. Together, we've accomplished something truly special. The peace was interrupted by an urgent announcement over the station's communication system. Commander Elena's voice was clear but tense. Attention everyone, we have a critical situation. A power failure in the main reactor room is causing serious issues. Immediate assistance is needed. John and Lyra exchanged quick, concerned glances and stood up instantly. They joined the rush of crew members heading towards the reactor room. Urgency clear in everyone's movements. Upon arriving, they found chaos. Technicians struggled to stabilize the failing reactor, and alarms blared loudly, flashing red warning. Lights filled the room. Commander Elena stood nearby, directing efforts with calm authority. John, Lyra, I'm glad you're here, the commander said urgently. The reactor's coolant system has malfunctioned. We need your combined skills to solve this quickly, or we risk losing the outpost. We'll handle it, John replied confidently, already moving toward the main control panel. Lyra quickly joined him, her eyes sharp and focused. Let's start by checking the control circuits and the coolant valve. Working quickly and efficiently, John examined the electronic systems while Lyra inspected the mechanical components. Their combined knowledge allowed them to swiftly identify the problem. A critical valve had jammed, preventing the coolant from circulating properly. We found the issue, Lyra called out urgently. The main valve is stuck. We need to manually override it. Commander Elena nodded firmly. Do whatever you must quickly. John grabbed the necessary tools, and together they approached the valve. It was a complex mechanism designed for emergencies. John felt the pressure but remained calm, trusting Lyra beside him. Hold this steady, John instructed softly, handing her a part of the valve. Lyra took it firmly, keeping the mechanism stable as John worked carefully to release the jammed component. The reactor room was tense, filled with crew members watching anxiously. John and Lyra remained focused, their movements precise and coordinated. Suddenly, the valve shifted slightly, and John exhaled in relief. Almost there, he said quietly, determination clear in his voice. With one final effort, the valve clicked loudly into place. Immediately, the alarms quieted, and the reactors cooling. System began functioning normally again. Cheers erupted around the room, crew members celebrating their success. John and Lyra stepped back, breathing deeply and smiling at each other. Their shared relief cleared. Commander Elena approached, gratitude in her eyes. You both saved the outpost. Today, your teamwork and bravery were exceptional. It was our duty, John replied humbly, glancing warmly at Lyra. And we make a great team. Commander Elena nodded warmly. Indeed you do. Thank you. After the crisis, John and Lyra returned to their quarters, feeling exhausted but proud. The entire outpost buzzed with praise for their actions. Their teamwork had not only prevented disaster, but also further strengthened the bond between humans and ZALARIANS. In the following days, the outpost organized a celebration to honor John and Lyra. It was a joyful gathering filled with appreciation and newfound unity. Everyone recognized that their cooperation had proven essential during the crisis. At the event, Siren approached John and Lyra with a warm smile. You two have truly shown everyone the power of friendship. Our worlds are better for it. Thank you, Siren, Lyra replied sincerely, touched by her words. We're glad to have your support. As the evening continued, John felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He watched Lyra interacting happily with crew members from both communities, her gentle laughter echoing softly. Her confidence had grown, and her happiness was clear to all. Later, John found Lyra standing quietly near a window, gazing thoughtfully into space. He approached softly, sensing her mood. Are you all right, Lyra? He asked gently. She turned toward him, smiling softly. Yes, I'm just thinking about everything that's happened. We faced so many challenges, yet here we are, stronger than ever. And we'll continue to face whatever comes next, John assured her warmly. Together, nothing is impossible. Lyra's eyes sparkled with gratitude. Meeting you has truly changed my life, John. I never imagined finding such a strong connection with someone so different. John smiled warmly, his heart filled with affection. Neither did I. You've taught me so much about understanding and accepting differences. Lyra reached out gently, taking his hand in hers. Whatever happens next, we'll face it together. John squeezed her hand softly, nodding firmly. Together, always. As the celebration ended, the outpost returned to its normal routine. But the impact of John and Lyra's actions remained clear. Their bond continued inspiring others, demonstrating the strength and beauty of unity. In the quiet moments that followed, John often reflected on how much Lyra had changed his life. Her gentle nature, strength, and compassion had made him a better person. He cherished every moment they shared and looked forward to their future together, certain their friendship would continue growing stronger. Lyra, too, felt deeply grateful. John had given her confidence and happiness she never thought possible. Their friendship had shown her the beauty of acceptance and unity, shaping a brighter future for both their worlds. Together, John and Lyra had become symbols of hope, proving that friendship and understanding could overcome even the greatest challenges. Their story had only just begun, but their bond was already unbreakable. forged through trust, respect, and mutual admiration. John and Lyra quickly began planning their new project. They carefully selected team members from both the human and Zalarian communities. Each person chosen was known for being open-minded and skilled in teamwork. The project aimed to create a new garden space within the outpost, a place where everyone could relax and learn about each other's cultures. The garden idea excited many, though some still doubted it could succeed. John and Lyra knew they had a big job ahead, but their enthusiasm kept them motivated. They spent long hours drawing designs, picking suitable plants from Earth and Zalar, and preparing a schedule for the work. The first day of work arrived, and John felt nervous but hopeful. As the team gathered in a large empty room that would become the garden, he glanced at Lyra. She smiled at him, calm and confident, easing his nerves instantly. "Thank you all for coming today," John began warmly. "Lyra and I are excited to start this project. Together, we can build something special that will help everyone see how cooperation benefits us all." Lyra stepped forward gracefully. "Each of us has different skills and knowledge. By sharing these, we'll create something beautiful and meaningful. Let's show everyone what we can accomplish when we work together." The team members, both human and Zalarian, nodded in agreement. Everyone seemed eager to begin. Soon, the room buzzed with activity. John and several others began preparing the soil, while Lyra and her group arranged the plants, carefully combining earth flowers and Zalarian crystal plants. As they worked, conversations naturally began to flow. Humans and Zalarians talked about their lives, their worlds, and their experiences. Slowly, the initial hesitation faded, replaced by genuine curiosity and friendliness. John paused briefly, wiping sweat from his brow, and watched the scene unfold. His heart filled with pride seeing the growing harmony among the team. Lyra caught his eye from across the room and smiled warmly, clearly feeling the same way. "John, could you help me with this?" Lyra called softly, gesturing toward a tall, delicate Zalarian plant. "Of course," John replied, quickly joining her side. Together, they carefully placed the plant in its designated spot. John admired its shimmering leaves that glowed softly under the artificial lights. "It's beautiful," John said quietly. "It's called a star whisperer," Lyra explained gently. "On Zalar, these plants symbolize peace and friendship." John looked deeply into her eyes. Perfect choice. Throughout the following days, the team continued working hard. Slowly, the garden took shape, transforming the empty space into a place of tranquility and beauty. Each day brought new friendships and greater understanding between humans and Zalarians. One evening, after another successful day of work, John and Lyra sat together quietly in the observation deck, watching the distant stars. "The garden is coming together better than I imagined," Lyra said, her voice soft with happiness. "It really is," John agreed warmly. "Everyone is getting along, learning from each other. It's amazing to watch." Lyra turned to face him, her expression thoughtful. "John, do you think we can truly change how people think?" John considered her question carefully. "Yes, I do. It won't happen overnight, but each small step matters." "What we've created already shows people that unity is possible." Lyra smiled, comforted by his words. "Your confidence always makes me feel stronger." John reached over, gently squeezing her hand. "We support each other. That's what makes us strong." As the final stages of the garden approached, excitement spread throughout the outpost. The station commander announced an official opening ceremony to celebrate the new space. John and Lyra carefully planned the event, ensuring it highlighted the teamwork and cooperation that made the garden possible. The day of the ceremony arrived. Crew members from both species filled the room, admiring the beautiful arrangement of Earth and Zalarian plants. The air was filled with gentle laughter and friendly conversation. Commander Elena stepped forward, smiling warmly at John and Lyra. "Today, we celebrate more than a garden. We celebrate unity, friendship, and the strength that comes from cooperation. John and Lyra showed us what's possible when we embrace our differences. The crowd applauded enthusiastically, looking at John and Lyra with respect and appreciation. John felt overwhelmed by pride and joy, and he saw the same emotions reflected in Lyra's eyes. As people explored the garden, John noticed Siren approaching Lyra cautiously. He watched quietly, hoping their friendship could mend. "Lyra," Siren began softly, her violet eyes sincere, "I want to apologize. I was wrong to doubt you. This garden, everything you've accomplished here with John, it's truly remarkable." Lyra's face softened, relief clear in her eyes. "Thank you, Siren. Your words mean a lot." Siren smiled warmly. "Perhaps we can start again? I'd like that." "So, would I?" Lyra replied happily. John walked over, feeling relieved and happy for Lyra. "Siren, thank you for supporting us. It means a great deal." Siren nodded kindly. "You both have shown us something important. Friendship and cooperation matter more than our differences." As Siren walked away, Lyra turned to John, her eyes shining. "With gratitude. This is more than I ever hoped for." "Me too," John agreed softly, smiling gently at her. The evening continued joyfully, filled with laughter, music, and a sense of community. Humans and Zolarians mingled freely, friendships growing stronger with each passing moment. John and Lyra stood together, watching proudly as their dream became reality. "We did it," Lyra whispered softly, her voice filled with awe. "We certainly did," John agreed warmly. "And this is just the beginning." As the event wound down, John and Lyra stayed behind, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere of their creation. They walked slowly through the garden, admiring the beauty around them. "You know," John said gently, looking at Lyra with deep affection, "meeting you has changed everything for me." Lyra paused, her eyes meeting his with equal warmth. "For me, too. I never imagined I could feel so happy here." They stood quietly for a moment, the gentle glow of the plants surrounding them. John reached out, softly taking Lyra's hand in his. "No matter what happens next," John promised quietly, "we'll face it together." Lyra smiled beautifully, her eyes filled with certainty. "Together," she agreed softly. Under the soft lights of the garden, they knew their bond had become unbreakable. Their friendship had grown into something deeper, stronger, and more meaningful. Whatever the future held, John and Lyra were ready to face it, united and strong. Days turned into weeks, and John and Lyra's friendship continued to grow stronger. They spent most of their free time together, exploring various parts of the outpost or simply talking for hours. They learned to appreciate each other's differences and found common ground in their shared experiences. However, their closeness attracted more attention, some of which was not friendly. Lyra began noticing whispers from her fellow Zolarians, and John felt occasional cold stares from certain human crew members. The tension was subtle, but persistent. One morning, Lyra entered the communal lounge, looking forward to meeting John. Instead, she found a small group of Zolarians already gathered. They glanced up at her arrival, and their conversation quickly fell silent. "Is everything all right?" Lyra asked carefully, sensing the awkwardness. Seren, a fellow Zolarian and previously a close friend of Lyra, stepped forward. Her expression was guarded. "Lyra, we need to talk. It's about your friendship with the human. Some of us feel you're becoming too involved. Humans and Zolarians have always kept a respectful distance. You're crossing boundaries." Lyra felt her heart sink. She had expected some resistance, but not from Siren. She took a steadying breath. "John and I understand and respect each other. Our friendship doesn't hurt anyone. In fact, it helps build better relations between our people." Siren shook her head gently. "But not everyone agrees. Many fear it will create more misunderstandings or even conflicts. We just want to protect you." Lyra felt conflicted. These were her friends and fellow crew members. Yet John had become very important to her, and their bond was genuine and meaningful. "Please try to understand," Lyra pleaded softly. "John is kind, thoughtful, and supportive. He's my friend, and I won't turn my back on him. Tyrion sighed heavily, disappointment evident in her violet eyes. We just worry about you, Lyra. Humans have different customs and ideas. You might get hurt. Lyra stood tall, determined but gentle. Thank you for your concern, but I'm sure of my decision. John has never done anything to hurt me. He's helped me feel welcome here. Without another word, Lyra turned and left the lounge, feeling a mix of sadness and determination. She knew their concerns were sincere, but she couldn't abandon her friendship with John. Meanwhile, John faced similar pressure from his peers. One evening, as he was finishing his shift, Frank approached. Him again, a worried expression on his face. John, can we talk for a moment? John sighed inwardly but nodded politely. Of course, Frank. What's on your mind? Frank cleared his throat, clearly uncomfortable. I'm worried about this situation with you and Lyra. Some crew members feel it's inappropriate. They worry about potential issues arising from such close interaction with a Zolarian. John listened calmly, though irritation flickered inside him. Frank, have you considered that our friendship might actually help build understanding and unity? We work together perfectly. Our differences haven't caused any problems, only solutions. Frank sighed deeply. John, I respect your optimism. I just hope you're prepared for the challenges ahead. Not everyone is as open-minded. I appreciate your concern, John said firmly but kindly. But my friendship with Lyra is strong, and it matters deeply to me. I believe we can show everyone how positive human-Zolarian relationships can be. Frank nodded reluctantly and stepped away, leaving John feeling unsettled yet resolute. He was aware their friendship would face further tests, but he was determined. To stand by Lyra. Later that evening, John found Lyra waiting for him at their favorite spot, the observation deck. As soon as their eyes met, John saw the distress in her face. What's wrong, Lyra? John asked gently, stepping closer. Lyra looked down briefly, then met his gaze bravely. My friend spoke to me today. They think we're too close. They're worried about misunderstandings and conflicts. John nodded slowly. Frank had a similar conversation with me. People are nervous about our friendship. Lyra's eyes filled with sadness. It hurts that they don't understand. Why can't they see what we see? John gently took Lyra's hand, offering comfort. Change is scary for people, but we can show them it's possible to live and work together harmoniously. Lyra smiled softly, reassured by his words. You're right. We can't give up just because others don't understand yet. John smiled back warmly. Exactly. Together, we can handle anything. The next day, John and Lyra were working together on routine maintenance tasks when the station commander, Commander Elena, approached them. Her face was calm but serious. John, Lyra, could I speak with you both privately? They exchanged nervous glances, but followed her into a nearby conference room. Once seated, Commander Elena spoke clearly. I've heard about concerns from both humans and Zolarians regarding your friendship. Some worry about potential issues. However, I've also seen the positive impact your cooperation has had on this station. John relaxed slightly, hopeful. Thank you, Commander. We genuinely believe in our friendship and the potential benefits it brings. Commander Elena nodded approvingly. That's why I've decided to support your efforts openly. I'd like you both to lead a small team for a new project, designed specifically to encourage collaboration between our two groups. Lyra's eyes lit up with joy and excitement. Really? You trust us to do this? Absolutely, Commander Elena confirmed, her voice firm and encouraging. Your teamwork has already proven successful. Let's show everyone that unity between humans and Zolarians is not only possible but essential. John felt pride and gratitude fill his heart. We won't let you down, Commander. I know you won't, she replied warmly. As they left the conference room, Lyra turned to John, her eyes shining. John, this is amazing. We have the chance to truly change things. John smiled, his own excitement evident. Yes, and we'll do it together. No matter what happens, We'll prove them all wrong. They walked side by side, energized by their new responsibility. Despite the doubts around them, John and Lyra felt ready to face any challenge. Their friendship, built on trust and respect, had become stronger through the trials they faced. Now, with the station commander's support, they were determined to show the entire outpost that understanding and cooperation were not only possible, but necessary for everyone's future. John and Lyra began spending more time together after their first meeting. Each day, they learned more about each other, discovering new things that made their bond stronger. John showed Lyra different aspects of human culture, such as music, films, and food. In return, Lyra shared stories about her home planet Zalar, with its beautiful crystal mountains and glowing seas. One afternoon, they sat together in the observation deck, looking out at the stars through the large viewing window. The vastness of space stretched out before them, peaceful and endless. "Your home sounds amazing," John said quietly, his voice filled with genuine admiration. "I'd love to see those crystal mountains someday," Lyra smiled, her violet eyes soft with memories. "Maybe one day you can visit. My family would welcome you." John grinned happily. "I'd really like that. Tell me more about your family." Lyra's expression softened further. "I have 2 younger sisters. They're always curious and eager to learn new things. My parents are kind, always teaching us about respect and understanding. I miss them a lot." John reached out and gently touched Lyra's hand, comforting her. "I understand. My family is on Earth. It's hard being away from them, too." She nodded slowly, grateful for his support. "It's strange. Even though we are so different, our feelings and desires are quite similar." "Exactly," John agreed warmly. "That's why we understand each other." As days passed, other crew members began noticing their friendship. Many were curious, some supportive, while others expressed doubts and concerns quietly among themselves. One evening, while John and Lyra were enjoying a meal in the dining area, an older human named Frank approached their table. He had worked at the outpost for many years and often voiced his opinions openly. "You two spend a lot of time together," Frank said, eyeing them carefully. "Is it wise? Humans and Zolarians don't usually mix like this." Lyra looked down, visibly uncomfortable. John frowned slightly but kept his voice calm and respectful. "Frank, I understand your concern, but Lyra and I have become good friends. Our differences don't matter as much as you might think." Frank shook his head slowly. "I hope you're right. But not everyone here feels the same. Just be careful." As Frank walked away, Lyra sighed softly, her violet eyes troubled. "He's not the only one who thinks that way. Some of my people have said similar things to me." John gently touched her arm, offering comfort. "Don't let their opinions bother you. Our friendship is something special. We'll show everyone that humans and Zolarians can get along." Lyra smiled again, reassured by John's unwavering support. "You're right. Thank you for always being here for me." Later that week, a new project required John and Lyra to collaborate closely. They were assigned to fix and upgrade the outpost communication systems. John felt excited about the opportunity to work alongside Lyra. They spent long hours in the control room, working carefully side by side. John was impressed by Lyra's skills. She quickly understood complicated technical details and provided solutions he hadn't considered. One evening, while they were working late, John watched Lyra carefully soldering delicate circuits. Her silver blue hair fell gracefully around her shoulders, and the focused expression on her face made his heart beat faster. He shook himself slightly, surprised by his reaction. "You're very skilled," John said, trying to cover his sudden nervousness. Lyra looked up, smiling shyly. "Thank you. I've always loved working with technology. It's soothing," John chuckled softly. "Me too. There's something calming about repairing things, making them work again." Lyra's violet eyes met John's, a warm connection passing between them. "I feel the same. It's even better when working together." As they continued their tasks, John noticed Lyra stealing occasional glances at him, quickly looking away when their eyes met. Each time, they both laughed quietly, enjoying the gentle, playful exchange. Finally, after several days of hard work, the communication systems were fully upgraded. John felt proud of their achievement. The station commander praised their teamwork and efficiency, acknowledging that cooperation between species could lead to great things. "We make a great team," Lyra said softly as they left the control room. John nodded enthusiastically. "The best team." They decided to celebrate their success with a quiet meal. Sitting together in the dining area, John felt relaxed and happy. Lyra's presence had become comforting, something he looked forward to each day. "Lyra," John began hesitantly, "do you think our friendship will change things here at the outpost?" Lyra looked thoughtful, considering his question carefully. "I think it already has. People notice us. They talk about how well we work together. Maybe, slowly, it will change how everyone sees each other." John smiled warmly. "I hope you're right. I believe we can make a difference." Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. "We will make a difference, John. Together." As they finished their meal, John felt more certain than ever that his bond with Lyra was special. Despite the doubts of others, they had shown that cooperation and understanding were possible. There, friendship had already begun to bridge the divide between humans and Zolarians. Walking back to their quarters, John paused at Lyra's door. She turned to face him, her expression soft and gentle. "Thank you for everything, John," she whispered, sincerity shining in her eyes. "You've made me feel truly accepted here." John smiled gently, his heart warm with affection. "You've done the same for me, Lyra. You've made this outpost feel like home." Lyra reached out and gently touched his hand, her touch light and comforting. "Good night, John." "Good night, Lyra," he replied softly, watching as she disappeared into her room. As John returned to his quarters, he reflected on their growing friendship. He knew challenges might still lie ahead, but he felt confident that together they could face anything. Lyra had become an important part of his life, and he was determined to protect their special bond, no matter what others might think. John walked slowly down the quiet corridor of the space outpost, his footsteps echoing softly against the metal floor. It was late, and most of the other crew members had already returned to their quarters. John had just finished a long shift repairing systems in the engine room, and he was tired. He wanted nothing more than a quick snack and then some rest. As he passed by a dimly lit storage area, he heard a faint sound. He paused, listening carefully. It sounded like someone was crying, softly but distinctly. Curious and concerned, John stepped closer and looked into the room. In a shadow corner, he saw an alien girl sitting alone, her face hidden in her hands. John recognized her immediately as Lyra, one of the Zolarian team members who had recently arrived at the outpost. Her silver-blue hair shimmered softly under the dim lighting, and her slender shoulders shook gently as she cried. John hesitated for a moment, unsure whether to disturb her. But seeing Lyra so upset tugged at something inside him. He stepped forward quietly, clearing his throat softly so as not to startle her. "Lyra, are you okay?" he asked gently. Lyra looked up quickly, startled. Her eyes were large and shimmering with tears, a soft violet shade that John had always found fascinating. She quickly wiped her face, trying to hide her tears. "I am sorry," she whispered, her voice soft and musical, but filled with sadness. "I did not mean for anyone to see me like this." John took another step closer and smiled kindly. "There's nothing to be sorry about. Everyone gets upset sometimes. Do you want to talk about it?" Lyra hesitated, looking down at her hands, then back up at John. "It's just difficult. I feel like an outsider here. My people and humans, we are so different. I don't know how to fit in." John nodded slowly, understanding what she meant. He had noticed the tension between humans and Zolarians since the new group arrived. Cultural differences made interactions awkward, and many stayed apart. "It must be hard," John said softly, moving closer and sitting down beside her on the storage crate. But not everyone sees you as an outsider, Lyra. Some of us want to get to know you and your people better. Lyra looked at him with cautious hope, wiping another tear away. Really? Sometimes it feels impossible. John smiled warmly, sincerity clear in his eyes. Of course. You know, I've seen you around. You're always helping others, even though you might not realize it. I think that's wonderful. Lyra's cheeks flushed a soft blue, a sign John recognized as the Zolarian equivalent of blushing. She looked surprised and then slowly began to smile. A faint, shy smile that transformed her delicate face. Do you really think so? She asked quietly. John chuckled gently. Absolutely. You're kind and thoughtful. And well, you're also a beautiful girl. At his words, Lyra blinked, startled, and then suddenly burst into a delighted laugh. The sweet, clear sound filled the small room, echoing softly off the walls. She covered her mouth with her hand, eyes wide with joyful surprise. Beautiful girl? She repeated, still laughing softly, eyes sparkling with amusement. No human has ever said something like that to me before. John shrugged lightly, grinning. Maybe they should have. It's true. Lyra shook her head, still smiling widely. Thank you, John. You've made me feel so much better already. John leaned back comfortably against the crate, feeling happier. Himself. Well, I'm glad. It's nice to see you smile, Lyra. Lyra looked down shyly, fiddling with the edge of her sleeve. It's been hard lately. I miss home sometimes, and it's difficult to connect with people here. John nodded gently, understanding in his eyes. I can imagine, but maybe we can help each other out. You teach me about your world, and I'll help you learn about humans. Deal? Lyra looked up quickly, her violet eyes bright with excitement. Really? You would do that? Of course, John replied warmly. I think we both learn a lot, and who knows? Maybe it will help others see that humans and Zolarians aren't so different after all. Lyra laughed softly again, the sound sweet and genuine. I would like that very much. Thank you, John. John felt warmth spread through his chest, happy that he had decided to approach her. It felt good to see Lyra happy, her earlier tears forgotten. For the moment. You're welcome, he replied with a gentle smile. Now, why don't we get out of this dark storage room? Maybe grab something to eat? Lyra stood gracefully, her long silver blue hair falling neatly down her back. She nodded eagerly. That sounds wonderful. I would like that. John stood as well, and together they walked out into the brightly lit corridor, side by side. The outpost seemed warmer and friendlier now, the sense of loneliness Lyra had felt earlier gradually fading away. John noticed the curious glances from a few passing crew members, but he ignored them. All he cared about at that moment was helping Lyra feel welcomed and accepted. As they entered the dining area, John smiled, watching as Lyra's eyes widened in excitement at the selection of foods. She turned to him, her expression filled with gratitude and joy. Thank you again, John, she whispered softly. You made a big difference for me tonight. John met her gaze, sincerity clear in his eyes. I'm glad I could help, Lyra. You're not alone here, I promise. Lyra's smile brightened even more, and John knew in his heart that this was only the beginning of something special, something that could bridge the gap between their two worlds.